Hey guys, what is up? NYK at 31 here. Huh, I have not had a good month of January. You guys may or may not have noticed I have not been very active lately, and I'm not one to get into my personal world very much. I did post on Twitter yesterday for the first time in about a week. Yeah, I've just been going through a lot of personal stuff. Long story short, man, you know, as you go through life, it's important to cherish the people in your life because you just never know when those people are going to be uh, taken away from you. And the closer they are to you, the more painful it is, obviously. And, the older you get, you start to lose people from your life. Um, I had a uncle pass away just before Christmas, and his funeral was just this past week at the same time. I had a birthday of a friend of mine, a childhood friend of mine who passed away. And on top of that, I had another close friend pass away all within the same week. So I was just surrounded by death. And I just had to go away and just unplug. And it just got too much, man. It was bad. I was just down and had to just get away from the world and we all have our coping mechanisms when we deal with these kind of things, and I just had to just get my head together, get my mind right, deal with it with my family and friends and all of that, and then try to get back into some type of normalcy once I felt ready. So it feels kind of weird to be talking about football after all of this, you know. But life does go on. That's another thing you got to learn. Life does not stop moving. You got to deal with what you got to deal with, and you got to keep on living life. So with the month of January almost done, hopefully this is the worst of it as far as 2021 goes for the foreseeable future. But anyway, again, I don't like to get into my personal stuff on social media because we all have stuff to deal with, and you don't want your stuff to deal with. You don't want your stuff to burden other people. I mean, I look at this environment as an escape, as leisure, but also on the flip side, I've been in this community for so long that there are people who I interact with in my time in playing in online leagues and being on social media and being on YouTube. I've gotten to the point where I genuinely like and have an affinity for. I mean, we're human beings, we're social creatures. That's natural and normal, So, in that vein, I also do try to now attempt to open up more. I mean, hell, just this past few months, I've been on camera for the first time ever, things like that. So it's interesting how we evolve and how we grow as we go through life. So that's what I've been dealing with in my world, and now I'm just kind of now just starting to get back to feeling like myself and back to normal. I watched UFC yet last night, and that was the first normal activity, so to speak, I partook in. I've just been on a complete blackout, and I hopped back on Twitter and commented on UFC, watching Connor get knocked out, which I didn't see coming, and just feeling like my old self, and just starting to get back into um, feeling normal again. And today I'm going to watch the conference championship games, and also get back on the horse in my Madden leagues. I just completely shut down, as I said. But anyway, conference championship week, one of my favorite weekends of the year, and we got the Bucks and the Packers, as well as the Bills and the Chiefs playing for the right to go to the Super Bowl. And honestly, I'm pretty happy with both these matchups. I thought the Saints would be here in place of the Bucks. I think the I thought that the Saints they present matchup problems as far as their ability for the Bucks' ability to pass protect against that team, and also they're able to hold up on the back end, usually against the Bucks, just well enough to cause them problems. But Drew Brees just looks done. He looks done. He looks like he's on the end of the road. And this week we have Rodgers and Brady going at it again. That old guard quarterback generation. You have Breeze. They're slowly starting to fade from the scene. Philip Rivers retired. Big Ben is probably done. Eli Manning is gone. Peyton Manning's been gone for a couple of years. Brady and Rodgers, this is probably the last. Well, Brady's probably going to be around next year, but we're not going to see that too many times more. It's really interesting. And on the flip side, you have the AFC Championship game, which kind of represents the new guard. Mahomes has already arrived, of course. You have Josh Allen, who's emerged, to my complete shock. I mean, I did pick the Bills. I did want to see this matchup as far as the Bills against the Chiefs. I did have my doubts about the Chiefs, mainly because I don't like it when teams are in cruise control for weeks or a month at a time. I think that, does not bode well for football in particular. Well, in anything in general, but really in football, where we're such a amped up, emotional, physical, violent game. It's really hard to just be in a mode where you're just so good, you feel like you can coast, and you do coast, and then you have to flip the switch again. And they ended up being in a bit of a dogfight against the Browns when Mahomes got knocked out with a concussion, but they ultimately pulled through and they survived. I'm kind of curious to see, how clear-headed Mahomes is, for lack of a better way of putting it. He got through concussion protocol, pretty quick. Usually, a guy would, if this was a regular season scenario, he'd probably miss a week, but they did clear him, and it is the postseason, so they're going to roll him out there. I think he'll be fine. And I think that's an interesting game. Both those teams are really well coached. I like watching teams that are coached by guys who know what they're doing. And I think Buffalo matches up pretty well as far as how Buffalo likes to play offensively. They can run the ball. They can run the ball in a wide variety of ways. They're really good at taking shots down the field off of it. And Josh Allen can do some improv as well on his own. And defensively, they're good enough. People are going to get the ball moved on them when they play the Chiefs. They just are. Simple as that. But I think offensively, they're good enough to hang in the game. I think this game is going to be competitive into the fourth quarter, and it would not surprise me if it's a game that comes down to who has the ball last. Wouldn't surprise me at all. Now, if that's the case, if you're a Bills fan, you better not. You better hope it's not Pat Mahomes that has the ball last, because that kid, in that situation, that kid is really, really tough. That whole team is tough. I want the Bills to win that game. I think that would be great and a lot of fun for Bills Mafia. That's the main reason why I want the Bills to win the game. It's for Bills Mafia. That's pretty much it. As far as the early game, the Bucks and the Packers. If the Packers win this game and go on to win the Super Bowl, wouldn't that be like the final indictment of Mike McCarthy? The fact that you have a quarterback as gifted as Aaron Rodgers, and you couldn't get more than one Super Bowl out of a guy that is that damn good. I think that would be pretty interesting. And as far as the Bucks go, we know they have weapons. You have Tom there, who always has to be respected. They have a good pass rush. They have really good coverage backers. They probably have the best tandem of coverage backers in the whole league between Devin White and Levante David. And that's a luxury that most teams in the league do not have. That's a huge thing to have. When you have backers that can match up with tight ends and backs, that's huge. That's really big. Because you can still play out of your big personnel and not be compromised too much. But I'm going to go with the Pack because I just don't like. I know that Brady put up a lot of stats. I know that the Bucks have explosive weapons, but I just hate Bruce Arians' offense for Tom Brady. I just don't like it. It doesn't fit who he is to me. Tom Brady is all about being efficient, being rhythm, timing, and he can take his deep shots, but that offense has put him in a situation where he has made more misreads down the field than we're used to seeing, and he gets hit a lot more, gets opened up to hits a lot more. So I'm going to go with the Packers and the Bills for our Super Bowl. And we'll see how it goes. Hope you guys enjoyed. Love to hear your thoughts, and I'll talk to you all later. Peace.